Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dalles Chamber Community Affairs. Today, our guest is Lisa AbuAssaly George, and I know I botched that up because it's last minute trying to put it in there, but she will correct me, I'm sure, and let everybody know how that beautiful name is pronounced. She is from the Columbia Gorge Community College, and she's the executive director, and it has to do with DEI. And the most important thing on that whole thing is inclusion, making sure that everybody feels included. And so she has that amazing task at our college, and so many different levels that we always think it's just that person to person, but it's not. And so she's here to tell us how that college, our community college up on the hill, is doing some of those things and making people feel like they're seen and heard, which we all know is what we need to feel. So anyway, before we do that, we're going to go around the room. I'm going to let each person introduce themselves. You may know them, but our audience may not. And we have this amazing group. So I'm going to start with Corliss and let her introduce herself.
Good morning, Lisa. We'll see you later this afternoon at our board meeting.
Oh, well, then, yeah.
So this is Corliss with Habitat for Humanity, the library, and the senior center, and also the foundation board at the college. So I'll see you later, and that's it. No updates today.
Awesome. Thank you. Scott?
Good morning, everyone. Scott McKay. I'm a community liaison for Circles of Care, and we match older adults who need some kind of periodic support with volunteers. And I think that's about it. Thank you, Lisa Farco. Lisa.
Our person just put it really fast. No one will know. Tom, would you like to introduce yourself? And you're on mute. The famous phrase. And he went off camera.
How about that?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Tom Pemberthy. I'm the marketing director at Columbia Gorge Community College.
Great. Thank you, Tom. And I believe I have a Phil on the phone. Do you want to introduce yourself? And that is just fine if you don't. All right. So with that, Lisa AbuAssaly George, did I get it this time?
You're so close.
All right. I would like you to introduce yourself. That is a beautiful name, and we all need to know how to pronounce it correctly. And then I'll let you begin and just fill us in. What's going on?
Thank you, Lisa Farquharson.
There you go. Yes.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay at this point.
Yes, please do.
I'm excited to share my screen because I can also show you how my name is spelled.
Ah.
Yeah. And because we work with inclusion and belonging at the college, we think it's important that we value all parts of what people bring to the college. That includes our names and our backgrounds. So I wanted to thank you, Lisa, for giving us a little coach on how to say your last name before the recording started. Thank you so much. My name is pronounced AbuAssaly, just like we and us. And I'm the executive director of diversity, equity, and inclusion at the college. I've been there for almost 2 years now, and the position was created in response to a need at the college, at all colleges, really, and universities, to have a point person, a lead on many initiatives that seek to deliver care, inclusion, belonging across all levels of the college. It's a really fun job. I love it. And it's quite an honor to do the work. Before I say anything else, I really want to thank everyone at the chamber. we passed the bond. And and it's really great to be able to come to the chamber and say thank you really for your support. We appreciate it so much. It took a lot, and we're super grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what I would love to share with you is a couple of things. Some info about our recently passed strategic plan, some info about some of the things that are going on at the college, and how it's linked to the strategic plan, and then maybe we'll have a time for a Q&A after, or general discussion, if that's okay. So, I just wanted to share that this was passed very recently at the college by the Board of Education. And here are the high level points of it. First of all, the vision for the college is that it's an institution of higher ed that innovates and excels. It champions equity and inclusion, and it nurtures a sense of belonging among our students, employees, and the community. So with that, I just want to say thanks for having me, and also come up to the college and visit anytime. Take classes for credit or through community ed, work through our skills center on community days to use some of the tools up there to make stuff. It's a really great place. Plus, I have to say, I think we might have the best view in the gorge. No contest, no debate, but that's just my opinion. Our mission is that CGCC prioritizes equitable access to education. It empowers all students through learning, and it drives inclusive prosperity through our community. And we have adopted some guiding principles. This is kind of how we have decided to act with each other at the college. First of all, open communication, that we are honest and communicative with each other. Respect is really important, and that includes celebrating the diversity of all of the lived experience that exists up at the college, and that respect is based in empathy and based in understanding. And then finally, integrity on this slide, committing to ethical conduct and accountability. And we have two more: collaboration, that we're better together, cooperating to share, to solve shared challenges while leveraging the richness of diverse experiences and perspectives. And then finally, to cap all of those four off, equity and inclusion, ensuring access to resources, providing people what they need to achieve their goals, and creating an inclusive learning environment that welcomes diverse backgrounds. These are some big principles, and really it's easy to document a lot of this, right? Like, how often do we collaborate? How many people are getting which resources? How do we provide people what they need to achieve their goals? But the bigger question here, creating an inclusive learning environment, is one that is a little bit trickier to capture. And we've done that through nationally administered surveys, but it's also a feeling. It's something that you know exists when you encounter it. And so I'm really happy to say that we're looking to capture that on all levels. Our priorities are also based in equity. CGCC prioritizes equity by ensuring equitable access to education, advancing equitable student learning and educational outcomes. That might be a degree or a certificate, or however the student defines it. And then finally, fostering economic growth, inclusive prosperity, and a thriving community. Really happy to say that the last official policy that was adopted by the Board of Education is one that I worked with the Board of Education Subcommittee on policy and equity, and here it is. Our beautiful Board Policy 1300. CGCC is dedicated to promoting an academic and social environment that serves the evolving needs of the vibrant and diverse communities across its district and beyond. CGCC is a student-centered, teaching and learning, socially and economically just organization that's committed to being a critical resource for underserved and marginalized communities. CGCC commits to fostering an inclusive and equitable climate with programming, instruction, employment practices, community partnerships, and decision-making processes that value individual and group differences. And then finally, CGCC is committed to the continuous work to eliminate barriers that perpetuate inequity, oppression, and injustice. We think that this is really a key final sentence here, in that the work that we do at the college around creating a sense of belonging, equity and access, and all of the other things we've been talking about is continuous work. It's not work that we can do one time and check a box and call it good. This is work that is ongoing, it's deep, it's important, and that we are always going to examine how we can do better. Here's what we're up to. We offer at the college dual credit. That means that students who are in high school can take classes at the college for credit while they're earning both degrees. We also offer career and technical classes, degrees, and certificates, everything from aviation maintenance, fixing airplanes, I'm very proud to say, and to welding, carpentry, other kinds of technology, nursing, and teaching in K-12 is also considered career and technical training. We create jobs, and we create people who can do those jobs in the community. We also offer transfer classes. We have students regularly taking a transfer degree path that will put them into junior status if they complete at any of our local universities. But also students can just take a few classes at the college, and those are transferable also. At the college, we're really working to do more community-based learning. Community-based learning, it has been identified for years now as a high impact practice in education. And what it is really is when instructors work with students along with community partners to create things in the community that track back to the goals of the outcomes of the course. We're really excited to show you this picture of a playground that our career and technical education instructors worked on with their students at a local school. It's beautiful. It was conceived of through a conversation, and it just took off from there. This particular playground was also partially designed by one of our students. Our students went to the site, they built it, they worked with the partners, they saw their work in action at the community. And boy, it's just a beautiful thing. At the college, we also offer tutoring. We have bilingual tutoring up there. We're also putting in new mentoring programs that are launching, actually, I think as we speak today and tomorrow. And those mentoring programs include significant training for the students who will be doing mentoring. We do peer-to-peer mentoring and near peer mentoring. At the college, students can also launch any kind of club that they find useful that represents fun things that they do, like play Dungeons and Dragons or ceramics, but they can also launch clubs that represent their culture and their beliefs. We currently have a few clubs up there. We have a Gender and Sexuality Alliance. We have Equal Club, which is based in doing education, inquiry, learning, and producing events that further equity at the college. And then finally, we have student government. Student government is a great way for our students to launch their careers. Many student government folks end up going into government or government-related jobs, or they learn leadership skills that get them a leg up into their career because they've already worked on developing that in real time, in real environments. We're really proud of our student government students. Columbia Gorge Community College is federally designated by the Department of Education as a Hispanic serving institution. We've been in HSI since 2016. In fact, we are the first HSI community college in Oregon. We earned that status purely through applying because of the demographics of the students at the college. In order to be designated an HSI, 25% or more of the students need to be of Hispanic or Latino background. So for a few years now, we've had an advisory to the president. We call it, or I should say the advisory calls itself, the Latinx Advisory. And this is really a body of community members, employees, students, and more who offer advice to the president. We also have ways for bilingual students or speakers of other languages to get tutoring in Spanish and reach out through what we call Programa Paz. We are receiving a Title III grant that stands up programs, and we are standing up a lot through our Title III. We're really grateful for those monies. One of the things we're able to do is provide bilingual tutoring through that. Last year, I did a faculty needs assessment, asking our instructors what they need to be more culturally responsive and anti-racist. And I got some great information out of that. In response, we've been working on faculty development topics that really, among other things, seek to improve the pedagogical focus of our instructors, again, working from the framework of continuous improvement, right? We're always seeking to get better, and we want to support that. In that, we've had some pretty heavy-hitting speakers up at the college for in-service. Dr. Gina Garcia wrote some really great books about how to serve as an HSI, as opposed to just how to enroll students as an HSI. She identified that the S of HSI stands for serving, and that's really what we need to do, as opposed to just merely enrolling. We've also brought Lisette Torres and Lisa Ramirez Stapleton up to the college. And then I also wanted to share with you that the small business development folks up at CGCC offer classes and consults in Spanish. And I think the statistic is that about 50% of the new business starts through the SBDC are through that program. So now I'll turn it over to you and ask you if you have any questions for me about CGCC, the work I do up there, and how we can partner and share more together. Feel free to unmute, type in the chat, or share however you would like at this point.
Before we begin, Lisa, do you want to go ahead and unshare your screen? Because then we can see everybody's faces. That's easier. Thank you. I'm going to start with a question right off the bat. With your the Spanish classes and the language classes, we sometimes have a need. I fortunately right now have someone who's bilingual in my office, but I know other businesses have the need of translating their information so that it is in Spanish and English. And yes, we can use tools online to do translations, but as we all know, the spoken language is not always like the written language. And we would love just to have all of this correct, but it may not make any sense by the time we're done, even though we've asked the translator to do it word for word. Do any of the students or any of the people involved with the program ever do a service like that to be engaged in the community, but also making sure that we are putting our communications out in both Spanish and English?
That is such a great idea. It's something that we are looking at through our community-based learning initiatives. There's, first of all, I have to give a shout out to Tom, who's in the room. Hi, Tom. I asked Tom to make our website accessible to folks across many language groups, and we now have on every web page at CGCC a little button in the upper right that translates every single page into a number of different languages. It's really cool. Can I show you? Can I just give you a cool little demo?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, give me one sec. And I won't forget your question. But
Okay, no worries.
I'm just so incredibly happy that we have this. This is the landing page for cgcc.edu. And if you look right here, you can click this and it will magically translate every web page. I don't know the magic behind the scenes, but it's pretty cool, and I highly recommend for any organization that needs this to maybe ask Tom. Sorry, Tom, I don't mean to volunteer you, but for a little tutorial, or I think it's pretty easy to add as a development phase into a website. And so that said, we do have an initiative that's looking into how to do that. Also wanting to support our students around confidentiality and other initiatives. One thing that we have found through community-based learning is that it really helps support students and their success. It's a high impact practice, and liaising students with community partners is a great thing all around. At the same time, it takes a lot of background to support instructors around being culturally responsive around such an important thing. Support them to work with clients or community partners in being culturally responsive, because there's a lot of work to do. And then also centering the student in all of those considerations. We're figuring out ways to do that, and also knowing that some of the stuff that folks get asked to translate can be tricky or confidential. So that's really some of the stuff that we want to make sure we're aware of, and we have good training in the pockets of everyone before they embark on a partnership like that. That said, it's a really promising thing, and let's stay in touch, because I'd really love to get that launched sooner than later.
Sounds good. Any other questions?
I have a couple of questions, Lisa, then.
You bet.
How do you measure if you're successful in your DEI efforts as far as the demographics of the folks who attend the college? And what would those be?
That's a really good question. We are, first, I'd like to offer you a job at the college and working. No, I'm joking. It's a big endeavor. It's a big undertaking. At the college, we collect a lot of data. One of the things that I have launched through my office is a campus climate survey, where we ask students not necessarily about if, how, and when they're finishing their degrees, but how they feel welcome, supported, if they've experienced discrimination or harassment. And this survey was designed by a group called the Higher Education Data Sharing Consortium, and is administered around the country. So we're able to compare the results that we get at CGCC through or to other community colleges, two-year colleges, and also other institutions, including 4 years. So that's one way we measure. We can also disaggregate our degree applications by self-identification around race and ethnicity. We never say to students or student groups in these kinds of surveys and analyses, we think you are this ethnicity, or we think that you are this thing culturally. We always ask students to self-identify. Another really important thing that we measured, though, in the climate survey is how faculty and staff feel, how they have experienced support, equity, and other things. So we measure success by degree and certificate completion. Sometimes we're able to measure how folks enter the job force, yeah, and other things. We have an indicator associated with each point on our strategic plan.
And I have two more questions. One is, do you measure is there some way to measure the economic level of your students, in the sense of ways to try to break that cycle of poverty that we see in communities so much? How to help them break out of the young people, to break out of that, get an education so they can get a good job and work?
That's a really good question. I'm really happy to say that a lot of the jobs that our students enter pay more than many of us make at the college. But we're in this work because we love it. It's a really important mission. It's an honor to do this work and support the community in this way. A lot of our jobs, some of our welding and manufacturing jobs, they pay really, really well on graduation. But one of the things that we are not necessarily tracking now is what's happening economically with our transfer students. If a student transfers out of the college into a college or university seeking a bachelor's, master's, PhD, one of our areas of improvement is alumni tracking and alumni engagement.
And the last question is, you discussed the enrolling students as just basically the first step. How do you maybe talk a little bit more about how you can create that feeling of belonging that's so important in college education?
It is so important. My philosophy is that creating that sense of belonging happens even before enrollment. So it happens with engagement with students while they're in K-12. It means doing some of the great work out in the community around attending farmers markets and giving a little kid as they walk by something really cool, like a magnet or a bottle of bubbles that came from the college, right? Just really starting as young as possible, connecting with students so that when they do hit that enrollment button, they already feel like they're part of the college community.
Thank you, Lisa.
You are welcome, Scott.
Any other questions? So I'm actually going to flip it to you, Lisa. Do you have questions knowing who we are and which organizations we are in? You have questions for us, or what can we do to help support you or the college and those efforts that you are doing?
Thanks, Lisa. I am just so grateful for the partnership we have with the Chamber, sharing information, sharing partnerships, supporting each other. Thanks for all the support around our big signature event, our fundraiser. I think one thing that could be really useful is just talking up the creation of more golf teams for our fundraiser that we have every fall. It's a lot of fun. I think Corliss probably has some great ideas about that. It's also really important as we boost up these community-based learning partnerships that we communicate to community partners, businesses, nonprofits, that our students are the best resource in our community before they enroll, while they're at college, and once again after they complete their degree or certificate. Because what that means for business in the Dalles particularly is that we have a populace that is more educated, more connected, more savvy, and will give back to the community in ways that reflect that. So we're really looking to partner with as many organizations as possible to continue that trend. We love our work with the Chamber and all of our community partners. So thank you.
Thank you. Scott, go ahead.
Another question is, I work with older adults, and I work for Age Plus, and we talk about the last ism, and that's acceptable these days as ageism.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, I guess my assumption is that as far as it goes to age, community colleges are pretty diverse with a lot of folks coming back for a second career. I'm not sure if that is the case, but I can see that sharing experiences between different ages, between those, just out of high school, those who have been working, coming back for a second career, and even the older adults who are retired and coming back for, further education themselves, that could create some great dialogues within classes, sharing those different experiences. So I guess the question is do you have statistics as far as the age when it comes to your students?
We do. We do have an idea of the median age of our students. We're really excited that we have students at all age levels. We have someone who is, or we have folks who are over the age of 60 enrolled in our programs. I would like to see more of that in our 4-credit and also our continuing education classes. And continuing ed is really fun too, because that's where we can get into supporting people's interests and what they want to learn more about without necessarily taking a credit class. There's a ton of research that shows learning communities are better and stronger with a diversity of age. And we honor that at CGCC because we're a universal access institution. You don't need to pass an entrance exam to come to the college. Anyone can take a class up there. And one of the things that we do support our instructors with is teach you to a diversity of background, experience, lived experience, and age. There's a word that a lot of instructors use. I bet a lot of you have heard it. It's pedagogy, right? Pedagogy is the science of how to teach. At CGCC, we use that word a lot, but we also get really specific and use the word andragogy. Andragogy has a different base than pedagogy in the vocabulary, right? When kids are little, we take them to the pediatrician. The beginning of that word, pedagogy, it means that it's the science of how kids learn and how we teach kids. Andragogy is the science of adult learning and teaching. So we do focus on andragogy at CGCC. We also are really excited to say that the guy, the scientist, the educational theorist in the field of curriculum and instruction, who created that word andragogy, actually circled back and said the best practices of andragogy are also the best practices for pedagogy. So so just do your best and and take the best of both realms. So that's one of the things that we're doing to support adult and senior elder learning at the college.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just thought I'd get a little bit in there about the science of curriculum and instruction. I'm a teacher at heart.
Oops. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Lisa, do you have any upcoming events that we need to know about?
At this point, we're one thing that I'd love to share with you is that one of the first colleges, I think it is the first college in the nation that was launched to serve the Hispanic, Latino, Chicano community, was right here in Oregon at Mount Angel in Woodburn. Oregon is a really cool place, in case you haven't noticed. I don't know if you have. I think we live in the most beautiful place in the world and also one of the coolest places in the world. That college shut down a few years ago, but it had a hand in developing a lot of the programs that we see, not only in Oregon, but in the region. We're going to have a visit by a mobile museum that celebrates that college this year after New Year's. It's the name of the college is Colegio Cesar Chavez, and it'll be up at the college for about 3 weeks. We'd love it if you could come and join us. I'll send you information.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I hope you can. I hope you can make it up the hill, and it's not too snowy. Don't go up Jefferson.
Nope, nope. No, send us the info. So one, we can help you get the information out there, but also then my staff and I can take a look at it too. That would be fun. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Tom, do you have any questions since you popped back on and now you're sitting and not driving? And you're on mute. Nope. Okay, we're just gonna go with a no. I do want to call attention because I didn't do announcements for the chamber. I did put them all in the chat for you. We of course have mega stuff happening. And we're trying to get it all done before the end of November so that we don't intrude on all of those holiday occasions that are happening. We don't want to burden with that. So I have put that in there. We actually have a ribbon cutting today. It was a new business that is set up in our downtown this summer. And so we're doing a ribbon cutting for a new member, new business. And then we also are next week, we have 2 networking events because we're trying to do them before Thanksgiving because we know Thanksgiving week. No. And so we have Morning Buzz at the Next Door, a great organization. And so that will be a chance to meet some of their team, understand a little bit more of the work that they do, and also network with some amazing people and coffee. And then on Thursday, we are doing a business after hours. We've been doing these once a quarter. We're getting more requests. So we've encouraged businesses to partner to lessen some of that financial burden because they are supplying all the appetizers, door prizes, and drinks. So business after hours will be held at Brick City and Games, but being co-hosted by Wines on Second. So we think this is a great partnership. We're excited to see maybe we can do more of these so that we can provide this networking event in the evening. And then of course we have the Starlight Parade the day after Thanksgiving. So we don't want people to forget about it. We still have their registration open to put a float, a walking group, a car, anything with Christmas lights on there. So there's the event registration, and then there's more information about the Starlight Parade. So I put all those links into your chat box so they're easy to access and you can share with those people that are in your circles. We really appreciate that, making our footprint a little bigger. And then always go and check the community calendar. We encourage people to do that before they plan an event and make sure they're not picking a day that has 5 other fundraisers. We want everybody to be successful. So check out, you can either go to the DallesChamber.com or you can go to tdcommunitycalendar.com. We have that URL plugged right into there. And that is open to everybody to put their events on. You do not have to be a chamber member. You can just put your events in there so that everybody can see them. We're trying our hardest to direct everybody who asks, inquires, or seeks information about what there is to do. We send them to that community calendar. So there's that. I don't think I have anything else. Anything else for the good of the order, the bettering of the day, or that we can help you support each other from any of you? Okay. Lisa, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us all the good things that are happening with our college and the direction that they're taking. We love the inclusivity. We all want to, like I said earlier, we all want to feel heard and seen. And so this is just one more way that really makes our community do that. So I appreciate all the work that you're doing. And it's Thursday. Everybody have a great day. I am actually in San Francisco right now. I am attending a conference down here on travelability, and accessibility for tourists. So I am learning different ways of including people who have some physical or non-visible disabilities. So I already pumped about some different things our community can do for beginning steps. So that is where I'm at. I'll be here until Saturday, and then I will be back at my desk on Monday to talk to any of you who stop by. So everyone, take care, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.